If you're a volleyball player who wants to win more tournaments so you can win more money, finally earn that new ranking, or beat that one team that you can just never beat, then I made this video specifically for you. Because today I'm going to detail the process we use to prepare our one-on-one clients during the week of a tournament. This includes what to do for workouts, how to adjust your workouts, nutrition, hydration, and supplementation, and even what to eat and drink during your tournament to maximize performance. Really quick, my name is Greg. I'm known as the Volleyball Strength Coach, and I'm the founder of Fast Twitch Strength and Conditioning, which is the world's largest online volleyball strength training company, where we've trained over 1,000 volleyball players, including pro players for indoor and beach. But we specialize in helping adult volleyball players over 25 win more tournaments, win more leagues, and look better and feel better while doing it. What you're about to hear is the recording of a live training call with our one-on-one elite coaching clients. This is something we do monthly exclusively with our one-on-one clients to give them even more value through our service. So if you want to learn how you can attend these calls as well, keep watching. Otherwise, simply enjoy the info, but make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss in-depth volleyball training content like this.
First thing we're going to talk about, the workout side and how to deload your training, how to taper your volume as far as what you get into for a tournament. Because obviously we want you to be as fresh as possible getting into the tournament. We want you to feel good. We want you to feel explosive. We don't want you to feel tired. So we need to clearly make some changes to your training to make sure that we can peak for that. First things first, we are just going to reduce lifting and jump volume. So if you've been on the in-season program, you've done some kind of tournament taper week. Typically we leave Monday sort of the same. Wednesday can be pretty similar, but then like we would change like Thursday, Friday, leading into a Saturday tournament. And we are going to make some changes to the protocol, some adjustments to the protocol as we go. But something that I kept seeing over and over again is to reduce lifting and training volume by about 40 to 60% during this week. So we definitely want to keep some heavy strength work early in the week, like Monday. We'll talk about what to do Wednesday or the other days in a little bit, but just like with fewer sets and reps. So think of what we do for a deload week. You may drop one set out of everything. You may do either less reps, or maybe sometimes I'll even do more reps with a lower load. So, instead of sets of 3 at 85%, we do sets of 6 at 50%, something like that, because we want to get those heavy workouts again during the week and then slowly taper our way down through the week. So Monday can definitely stay a bit heavier. On Wednesday or something along those, really by Wednesday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, we want to keep and prioritize like some more speed and some more power work. That way we have the nervous system, we keep our nervous system sharp so we can, have you guys jumping high, moving fast, quick reaction time through that tournament. So like Tuesday or Wednesday, we could do like a lighter power session. So, a little bit more of the low intensity plyos. We can do more of like the speed and agility work that we've been adding to some of your guys' programs, or some light or explosive lifts like trap bar jumps, med ball throws, things like that. If you think of like a complex training workout or something along those lines, that could be good then. And so what we can do, even coaches, is like on those days, that Tuesday, Wednesday leading up to it, make some adjustments so it is a little bit lighter and a little bit more explosive. And I may rethink kind of what we did for the in-season program, where Wednesday's still like pretty heavy day. I may look into adjusting that a little bit as we go. So kind of earlier in the week, heavy. Midweek, we start to get a little bit lighter. We get a little bit more explosive. And then obviously by the end of the week, we have what is called the prep day, or like a prime workout the day before the tournament. So this could be warm up, some mobility drills, maybe some isos, maybe one heavy, not heavy-ish movement, but more like compound movement, and then get into more of like a kind of it's a circuit, but it's not like a circuit for intensity purposes. It's like a circuit for flow purposes. We're doing something like goblet squats, kettlebell swings, maybe some jump squats, some rotation work like the banded face pull, some core work, high to low rotations, low to high rotations, that kind of things, to get your mobility ready for the tournament, to get your nervous system again fired up and getting you revved up the day before the tournament. This is not something that is intense. It's not something that's going to be fatiguing. It's supposed to be the opposite, right? You should feel better coming off of this workout than you do going into it. So that is something that should be in every program on that Friday or whatever it is that full body prep day. People love that, seem to love that. And we got a lot of good feedback about that. And there's some other things we can do, like active recovery and mobility work. So, even daily, starting on like Wednesday, 10 to 20 minutes of like foam rolling, band stretching, light mobility work, things like that. Getting opened up in your hips, your hamstrings, your calves, shoulders, back, any of the mobility aspects that we're going to need for volleyball. So think, your shoulder for swinging, your hips for passing, and just getting in weird digging positions, things like that. And then obviously going to that prep day on Friday. Another thing that we need need to look at managing like jumps and just contacts, or like at least the intensity of those contacts. And that also can include limiting volleyball, right? So it's not just the jumps and workouts, but we want to limit the intensity of volleyball leading up to something like a tournament. So as late as like Wednesday, after that, we don't really want any extra gyms, heavy jump workouts, anything like that. The jumping that's done on that prep day should be kind of lower intensity, quicker ground contact times, not super taxing. But we just want to make sure we can kind of recover from any kind of fatigue that we would be building from subsequent weeks or from those early workouts in there. Okay. So again, 5 big things there. 1, we're going to deload your training. So taper your volume, taper your intensity, just like heavier in the week and it gets lighter throughout the week. We can do a bit more power and speed work midweek just to prime the nerve system, active recovery and mobility work through all those days, like obviously any day, but then especially from Wednesday on. And then we'll do the prep day Friday. And then we will just try to focus on managing jumps during the weeks, just like we do with the deload week. A lot of times with my clients recently, we've been just removing a lot of the jumping from the deload weeks, maybe keeping some low intensity, extensive plyometrics, but otherwise it's like we just want to recover from all of that impact. That's basically just like, can you recover for the tournament? Right. Like that's like step 1, like limit volume and intensity. Are you physically recovered for the tournament? We would, prep it just like a deload week. I also should be, I guess, upfront that it like depends on how much you care about the tournament too. Like I'm playing a tournament on Saturday. I kind of care about the tournament. Like I'll probably follow a lot of these protocols because like I kind of care about it, but it's not like a huge tournament for me where I'm taking it like super seriously to get ready for this. Like I lifted yesterday, I'll lift tomorrow. I'll probably do light lift on Wednesday and then I'll do prep day Friday. And then, we'll talk about some other things, ice bath, sauna here in a little bit, but it's relatively straightforward.
Hey, really quick, as a reminder, this is a call we do with our one-on-one elite coaching clients, which is our highest level of coaching service. So if you want help from us to jump higher, hit harder, and get out of pain, then click the link in the description to apply for one-on-one coaching.
Next thing we're going to get into is nutrition, and kind of we'll do another like top 5 most important nutrition steps to make sure you're prepped throughout this week. Number 1 is going to be carb loading, particularly on Thursday and Friday. So as you go, guys may or may not know, carbs are the energy that you use for volleyball for the most part, plain and simple, right? So some fat, mostly carbs. So we want to make sure that we eat a lot of carbs and that our glycogen stores are full. So just without getting too deep into it, we store carbs in 3 different places. In our blood, as far as blood sugar, we call it blood glucose. In our muscles as muscle glycogen, and then also in our liver as like worst case scenario, we can use liver glycogen for assistance. So we want to make sure that our muscles are full of muscle glycogen that we can then use to help us through that exercise throughout. If we are depleted of that muscle glycogen, performance will definitely decrease. So a simple little protocol here, if you are tracking your calories and tracking your carbs, then Thursday you can do a slight increase in your intake. So like add, if it's one cup of rice, you do go, 1.5 or 1.25, add an extra piece of fruit, like whatever it might be, but just like a little bit more than you typically do. Then Friday, you want to do even more, and you can get up to as much as like 2 times your body weight in grams. So if you're a 170-pound person, you're getting between 300 and 350 grams of carbs. That is your day to like really load up on that, especially like at dinner or so like later in the day when you're not going to burn through that as much. Overall, doesn't matter as long as you hit the total, but you want to just increase your overall carb intake that day. We will talk about same day stuff as well. So right now we're just talking about week prior. You definitely want to increase on Thursday and then big increase on Friday to make sure that you are just setting yourself up for success as far as having enough energy to do the tournament. Same thing kind of goes with hydration. We want it to be aggressive but strategic. So even mild dehydration will have a massive effect on performance. You're not going to jump as high. Your reaction time is going to be slower. Your endurance will go down if you are dehydrated. And so you definitely want to increase water intake from Thursday on. Just really pay attention to your hydration. We don't necessarily give out numbers or requirements or things like that. I will say I'm a big fan of including electrolytes in your water the majority of the time. And I'll talk about some protocols that I use on game day. But even going into it, like I had electrolytes in here because just drinking plain water, like it's good, but it doesn't do as much for you as people think, right? So we need electrolytes. We don't want to be losing those as we do. Drink water, but from a lot of that time, add electrolytes as well. And it's really Thursday, Friday, like pay attention to it. You don't want to like overhydrate on Friday necessarily. Like it's not like a secondary increase like it is for the nutrition, because then you're just going to be like peeing the whole time you're at the tournament, right? We don't want that. But you definitely want to make sure you are paying attention to it and getting enough electrolytes. You can even just add salt to your water to make sure that we're not just excreting all of it and we can actually hold on to it. Number 3 is going to be avoid, especially Friday, like heavy fatty foods or any new foods. This is kind of a general arching thing. Nothing new on Friday, period. So no new foods, no new drinks, no new magic recovery protocols that you never try. The day before a tournament, don't do anything that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Even if it's supposed to be good, don't do it. Right. Like we'll talk about it later. As far as like avoiding heavier fatty foods, you just want to avoid the potential for things like GI distress, bloating, feeling sluggish, and that kind of stuff during your matches. So stick to very familiar foods, simpler foods that you eat before games often, and just avoid like really greasy things, lots of fiber things, or anything that's just like risky in general. Like, you know, the Taco Bell the night before, Chipotle the night before, like probably not a good idea. Just stick to the simple stuff and stick to the stuff that you normally do. Again, heavy emphasis on no new foods, because especially like we're old, so you just don't know how those foods are going to affect an aging gut and gut health in general. So number 4 helps to plan your pregame and in-game fuel. I've got a whole section about this too, but I want to just touch on it now. This is something that I have spent a lot of time focusing on for myself, on like, how do I make sure I don't get worse throughout the day? So where you'll notice a lot of people, they're, we're talking like local rec tournaments, their performance will decrease throughout the day because they're maybe drinking, they're eating bar food, there's no plan, there's no rhyme or reason, there's no preparation to what they do on game day. And I spent a lot of time figuring out like the best foods for me personally, the best breakfast, the best ways to hydrate, the best foods to eat during that time. And it gets pretty tough because like the tournament I'm playing this weekend, it's at a bar and we're not allowed to bring any food or water into the bar, period, end of story. You're not allowed to bring anything. So everything that you prep has to either be out in your car, or like what I do, just a little hack, is I'll buy one bottle of water from them and I'll just continue to refill it at like the refill station they have. That way I can still put my electrolytes in it. I can do that. I can bring like my electrolyte supplements. I don't care about that, but like no food or water. So I have to be either eat bar food or I have to bring stuff and have it in my car. There is required preparation for that. So things to think about: breakfast 2 to 3 hours before the match, a lot of carbs, maybe a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat. If you guys saw on my story, the oatmeal bowl that I eat daily right now is phenomenal for pre-volleyball tournament. So it's basically oatmeal, raisins, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, peanut butter, blueberries, and honey. And then on a tournament day, I'll add like banana or like something else to it for like even more carbs. And that'll be the first thing I eat. Again, I've got a whole section on this, so we'll talk about this in a little bit. But the other thing is to bring quick carbs for between matches. You guys have probably heard me talk about this a lot. I just keep, and I will bring this, that I don't care what they think, I will bring a thing of honey in my bag with me. Basically like an emergency case situation. If you feel like your energy is dropping, or what, if I get questioned on it, if I feel like I'm getting hypoglycemic, then I can just have some honey. Like I don't think they're going to consider that food, hopefully, but always have that with me. And it's really helpful in between games if you just like feel performance dropping. But if you do have longer breaks, that's when you can get like more like a meal. But you definitely want to avoid big meals. And I say to avoid protein during the tournament outside of if you have like a rather long sit. But again, we'll come back to that. Big thing number 5 is sleep and morning routine. So it's, nutrition isn't just what you eat, it's also how recovered you are to use the fuel. So Friday night, aim for extra sleep. Go to bed early, set a sleep alarm, and instead of just a wake alarm, set a sleep alarm, aim for 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Do not stay up late. When you are behind on sleep, you are going to perform worse. Your brain's going to work worse, and you are more susceptible to injury when you don't get enough sleep. So wake up early enough to have real breakfast 2 to 3 hours before your game. Don't just like grab coffee and like run to the tournament. So go to bed early, give yourself enough time to eat, and then you will give yourself time to prep and plan what you're going to bring with you. Let's talk like game day nutrition and stuff here really quick. So let's say start in the morning, or like if the tournament is an early start, 8 to 10 a.m., something like that. Solid breakfast in 2 to 3 hours before before your match, light snacks between games. So you're going to wake up, immediately drink 16 to 20 ounces of water. Highly recommend at this point adding electrolytes. If you guys want a recommendation, my top ones are Element, Redmond's, the one from Redmond's Real Salt, which is called Relight. And then right now I'm taking one called Lights by ATH Sport. Big fan of that one because it doesn't have stevia in it. And stevia does not work well with my system. It's monk fruit extract, and that works way better with my system. So those are really the best quality ones that I have found so far, but there's a bunch out there. So then we're looking breakfast, like sometime between like 5:30 and 7. That's when I really like that protein bowl, but you can do like oatmeal with a banana, maybe a scoop of protein powder. I'm not personally a fan of that, but it helps to slow down a little bit of digestion. You can do like a bagel with peanut butter, half a banana, Greek yogurt with honey and granola, like something like that. Like you're getting primarily carbs with some protein, some fat. Avoid, again, high fat, heavy foods like bacon, sausage, heavy cream, those type of things. Pre-game, so 30 to 60 minutes before you start, would be something like a banana, a granola bar, some pretzels, a sports drink like Gatorade, Body Armor. Also something that lights me up, Body Armor destroys my stomach. I don't know if you guys have had that. It like wrecks my stomach. Only ever did that twice. Again, this comes down to experiment with something, pay attention to how it makes you feel, and you will dial in the things that really make a big difference for you. No Body Armor, like I can just figure out, not too much stevia in these sweetened things. During the tournament, so between matches, just keep fruit on hand. I really like bananas because they are like kind of a lower fiber, just like higher fuel fruit. You could do things like fruit snacks, low fiber bars, like Rice Krispies, simple granola bars. Again, I eat candy bars sometimes. Sports drinks if needed for the electrolytes and the easy carbs. I also used to do Gatorade powder before electrolyte powders were a very popular thing. I would buy like the tub of Gatorade powder and I would just like house that stuff during because normal Gatorade is just underdosed. So if you can add some powder to it, like it makes it a lot more effective. Then if you do have a long break, that's when I'll eat something that resembles a meal. So if you have like 60 plus minutes, like you have like a 2 or 3 game sit, that's when I'll get a sandwich or a wrap or something like that. You could have PB&Js ready, like something along those lines where it's like a little bit of protein, but still just making sure that you're like fueling up your system. I am very big on basically no protein during the day for tournament days, especially not like heavy protein. And the reason is a couple. One, protein is very hard to digest. So especially if you're eating like real protein, like it's just the hardest thing for your system to digest. And two, you're not really getting the benefit of protein, which is recovery, is not happening during the tournament. It's going to happen after the tournament. So like, what are you even eating it for, really? That's why it's like that one time. If I know I have enough time to digest it, I'll have a little bit, but just not too much. Like there's no reason to do like protein shakes or like protein bars. You're better off getting carbs and fat from like nuts and seeds in that case, as opposed to like thinking you're healthy by eating a protein bar. It's doing nothing for you and could just cause some GI distress because it is so hard it's harder for our bodies to digest. That makes it beneficial in other ways because we burn more calories, right? Thermic effect of food, very, very satiating. But during tournament day specifically, I am like, save it for later. We're going to talk about that next. That is after you're done. Recovery meal, lots of protein and carbs as soon as you finish up. So like that's when you can kind of go ham, eat, a lot of protein as soon as you're done, kind of eat whatever you want, honestly. I used to be really big, like when I was younger and could get away with it, I would eat like a whole box of cereal when I got home from a tournament. More recently, we would like go out for ice cream or like do something with the family because like whatever, you just like do all this activity, you might as well treat yourself a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. But that's when you want to get as much protein as you can so that overnight you can digest that protein, recover as much as possible during that time. But during the tournament, it's not going to do a lot for you. It's the same thing. If you have like a later start, like 12 p.m. or later, you can have your breakfast later, more like 8 or 9 a.m. You're going to want maybe a small lunch at like 10:30, 11 before you go. And then you can get to your like pregame snacks, your in-game snacks, those kind of stuff. Night tournaments, you're mostly just eating a normal day. I didn't take any notes on that. I just thought of it right now. But these like overnight tournaments, which I don't understand how you guys do these. I would literally die. But yeah, eating normal throughout most of the day and then just snacks during. So tough. Good luck. Lots of caffeine. That's actually another thing I didn't bring up. I don't know about you guys. Caffeine for me during volleyball, no go. I'm still drinking coffee at 7:30 at night. I have coffee here. Like caffeine is my friend. During volleyball, terrible. It reduces my ability to focus actually. So I found myself almost like spacing out, like looking past the ball. I could not like focus on the ball. You take that and you also look into like you're more in the sympathetic nervous system, where volleyball you want to be more in the parasympathetic nervous system. Obviously a stimulant is going to put you sympathetic. So personally I avoid it. I also found like the smallest amount of like an energy drink or something during a tournament will directly influence me on cramping. So last note on in-game stuff is on hydration, and you need to hydrate more than you think you do. Like, just because you're not thirsty, you should be overly hydrating with water and with electrolytes. So what I do personally is I have a gallon of water if I have somewhere to fill up. If I don't have somewhere to fill up, I have 2 to 3 gallons of water. And I also have like something like this, which is bigger. This is 44 ounces that I'll put my electrolytes in. Sometimes I want to have water that's not with electrolytes. I do want to keep them separate. I did learn that the hard way at a turn. 2 gallons deep of like electrolyte water that I did not know affected my stomach negatively. And so by the end of the tournament, I was like a balloon. Like my stomach was just going to explode. So keep your water and like your main water source and your electrolytes separately. But I have gone through like almost 3 gallons of water in a tournament before. It was like a hot 85 to 90 degree beach volleyball doubles day. I went through a ton of water. Like, drink way more than you think you have to. If you think you have drank enough, like, I find myself being mildly uncomfortable with how much water I'm drinking. And that is what I need to do to not cramp. So if you're prone to cramping, drink even more. 100% do electrolytes. Oh, one more thing on that. Pickle juice is my, in case of emergency, break glass. I will keep, not literally break the glass, but I will keep pickles with me. And then if I do start to cramp, I'll drink some of that. Almost immediately helps with cramps. People don't actually know why yet. There's a lot of speculation. People don't really know why. It works for me personally. So if you are prone to cramping, check it out. Next thing, other recovery methods for tournament week. So we're going back off of tournament day to tournament week. Just because this is the order that I took the notes. So when it comes to additional recovery methods, right? Number one, probably know I'm going to say this is sleep. This is the number one priority. Nothing matters if your sleep is not good. Doesn't matter how much you do the cryo, ice bath, sauna, the boots, like the compression boots. Nothing matters if your sleep is off. So this is when your muscles recover, your nervous system gets a chance to recover. You adapt to everything. Obviously, we're talking 8 to 9 hours per night starting Monday, if you can. Of course, there, as much sleep as you're able to. If you track, I don't have my Whoop on because it died. If you track all of these things, like just trying to prioritize your sleep scores, things like that. But then obviously Friday night is the highest priority. Like pulling out all the stops as far as sleep hygiene. You guys may have heard me talk about sleep hygiene. So that would be room is cool, dark, and quiet. If you have any kind of noise, just kind of some kind of white noise, no screens 30 minutes before bed. Do something ahead of time that can get you into that parasympathetic nervous system. So light stretching, breathing exercises, a little bit of foam rolling, things like that, and just get like a wind down routine. And the other thing that I talk about a lot now is the sleep alarm as opposed to the wake up alarm. Something I'll do if you guys don't have night mode, turn on your phone. Highly recommend that. And then I got this other tip where when I triple click my phone, it will turn red. So it's got a red filter that goes over it, right? So this is obviously the red, and then that would be the normal. And so it's eliminating all of the blue light from your phone. It's like a step above night mode. I would have to walk you guys through how to, I don't remember how I did it, but I can kind of take you guys through that if need be. But it is cool because if you look at your phone at night, it's substantially less stimulating. My wife, no night mode, like basically brightness like almost all the way up, and I feel like it's like a spotlight in my face if I have to look at her phone or something like that. Yes, I do have the stock photo as my iPhone background. That's my work phone. To be fair, I have my family on my personal one, so like a little bit of credit. But yes, I have not changed that. One time, actually, that's not true. One time I changed it by accident, and I got upset because I couldn't figure out how to change it back to the same one that it was on, even though it was the stock one. So yeah, focus on work things, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have a reason. So sleep, number one priority. Talk about additional recovery methods, light mobility work and stretching, just kind of throughout the week. You can do a little bit more than you typically do. Daily mini sessions for some of my clients. We call this we had a name for it. I can't remember what it was. I'll think about it in a little bit, but just 10 to 15 minutes, especially like starting Tuesday or Wednesday, foam rolling, banded hip openers, calf stretches, T-spine, just whatever you need to work on, hamstring and glute stretching. Think like feel better after, not like kill yourself in mobility sessions. This is not the time to like spend 5 minutes in the splits so that you can like get lower on your passes, right? It's just to make sure you're prepped throughout that week. So just throughout your day, again, before bed, great time to do something like that, as long as it is putting you in that parasympathetic nervous system, which is helping you relax. Some optional things. First one would be sauna use. So sauna is very good for you, can boost circulation, can help with recovery, can help with cardio. And now, just in general, great time of the year to utilize sauna because it can help you get heat adapted for the summer so that you don't go out to like your first hot tournament and you're not used to the heat. Spending time in the sauna a couple times a week will help with things like the heat shock proteins and all the benefits from that, and just get you used to being hot. That way when you go play, not as big a deal. But before, like during the week of, short sessions, 10 to 15 minutes max, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, not super long like sweat sessions. You obviously want to avoid dehydration, and this would be best like after light training or maybe mobility work, and then hydrate heavily after that. So after sauna use, that's when you want to get your electrolytes and water. So use sauna more for relaxing and loosening up, not an extreme detox. The other thing, optional thing, would be like ice baths or cold exposure if you need to. I'm probably going to do one tomorrow. I'm craving it. I don't know if anybody else ever craves ice baths. Maybe I don't know. It's the dopamine. Who knows? I am craving one. I should have done one today. Reduces inflammation and muscle soreness. It's helpful if you have like heavy practice or like some nagging soreness like on Tuesday, Wednesday, and you want to optimize. But really just use it like if you're sore, especially Monday through Wednesday. Keep it short exposures, 5 to 8 minutes max at like 50 to 60 degrees. So like it's not unbearable, but obviously it's cold. And then ideally avoid it on Thursday or Friday. You want to have natural blood flow for performance and things like that. I will say that was a theme that I saw repeated, but I have come to like a routine of like Friday, the day before, I'll go to like one of those recovery places and I'll do cryotherapy. I'll do like the compression boots, whatever, just as like a routine to kind of help with any last minute stuff like the day before I play. Cryotherapy is not, honestly, I don't think as physically intense or physically taxing as an ice bath, because you're not getting like the hyperventilation and that kind of thing. I also don't know if it's as effective. So I like ice baths better. I think cryo's like it's a little lame. I'd rather do an ice bath, to be honest. So, last optional thing would be like massage guns, light massage, body work, that type of stuff. It's obviously good and improves blood flow, can help with some muscle tightness, maybe boost recovery speed a little bit, right? You want to keep it light, 5 to 10 minutes daily on things that are chronically tight, quads, calves, glutes, shoulders, those type of things. But you want to think of it as like a light, refreshing thing, like the stretching, not like a deep tissue massage. Like you don't want to do that before you go. And I wouldn't do it the day, like if you're a massage like the day before, that makes you super parasympathetic, and I would not worry about that. So no deep tissue massage 48 hours before a tournament. Don't do any brutal cold plunge the night before, and then don't try any new like recovery hacks or anything else that you haven't tried again or tried before. So again, no new things before tournament day. Overall, sleep is number one. Nutrition is really number two, protein intake, and then everything else is kind of subsequently effective after that. I will say one thing we didn't talk about. It's not super relevant to tournaments, but I have a client who plays in like the top Russian league, and he has me write him a workout for the day of matches. So think they're playing like in the evening and it's just a single match, but his workout is basically like a quick warm up. He does like power cleans, depth jumps, and like 2 other things, but it's like just a priming workout day of that helps him play better. It was something that he brought over kind of from his last coach. He's like, I really like this, like just see if we can improve it a little bit. And so that's what we do. He does like to do that on game day, but again, it's not tournament. It's like one match in the evening. All right. So the last thing I wanted to go over, this is mostly for your guys coaches, but something that I think is important for you guys to understand is more details on how to adjust training volume, load, and intensity during tournament week. So when we talk about volume is really like sets and reps, and that's going to be the biggest adjustment of the week. So the goal is to decrease overall work to reduce fatigue and soreness, but still give your body a small stimulus to stay sharp, right? So we want to reduce volume by 40 to 60% compared to a normal training week. So for example, if you typically do 4 or 5 sets per exercise, you would cut to 2 or 3. If you normally do 10 to 12 like total working sets, aim for like 5 to 7 working sets per session. Think less total work equals more freshness without losing strength. The goal for that week is really like maintain and then sharpen throughout the week goes. So that's volume. Load is like the weight on the bar. We do want to keep load relatively heavy earlier in the week, but then back off later in the week. Like I said earlier, the goal is to maintain strength, signal early, and avoid fatigue later. So how to adjust for Monday and Tuesday, you want to lift about 80 to 90% of your normal weight. So for example, if you typically squat 225 for 5, you would go down to like 210 or 200 to 210 for like 3 reps instead. And then Wednesday onward, very light lifting, if any at all, or just bodyweight movements until we get to that prep day on Friday. And a good thing to just remember is you don't get stronger the week of the tournament. You preserve the strength you've already built. And last one is intensity. So this is like the effort or the explosiveness. We want to maintain or slightly increase intensity, meaning move fast, jump fast, sprint fast in short bursts. So goal is to fire up the nervous system without fatiguing it. So we want to keep all jump, sprints, and lifts very explosive, especially like I said earlier, like on that Tuesday, Wednesday. We don't want a lot of grinding slow reps. We want shorter sets, so like 2 to 3 reps with a full rest in between so that you're fully recovered. So think like Monday is going to be kind of your heaviest day. Wednesday is going to be kind of your fastest day. Friday is your prep day. And I want you guys to think less about muscles, more about nervous system when it comes to stuff like this. So teaching your nervous system to move everything fast, especially that week of, it's just moving things quickly and not so much like I said, those grinding slow reps. So we talked about how to adjust training throughout the week, specifically what that looks like, volume, load, intensity, those type of things. We talked about nutrition, so how to prep the week of and what to do the day of. Big things are like carb loading on Thursday and Friday, and then hydrating with a purpose, especially on Friday, and then eating similar simple foods through Friday. Plan what you're doing for your tournament. We talked about recovery things, so how to maximize freshness, biggest thing being sleep, maybe some light foam rolling and mobility, and then some optional things, sauna, ice bath, massage kind of as we go. That is really it. So just to cap that off, for training, move fast, do a little bit less, stay sharp. Nutrition, carb up, hydrate, plan your fuel, recovery, sleep, mobility, optional, light sauna, and early icing.
So there you have it, everything you need to make sure you're more prepared than ever to crush the competition at your next tournament. And if you're a rec or semi-pro volleyball player over the age of 25 who's looking to get detailed help like this yourself, then click the link in the description to apply for our one-on-one elite coaching. With one-on-one elite coaching, we give you every single tool you need to increase your vertical, optimize your body, and overall improve your volleyball performance faster than you ever expected. This includes fully custom workout programs, nutrition coaching, weekly coaching calls, volleyball film review, detailed data tracking, and so much more. One-on-one coaching is exclusively for adult players. So if that sounds like you, then we'd be honored to have you click the link below and apply. Or if you're not interested, please at least do me and the volleyball community a favor and share this video so the people who need it the most can see it. And remember, getting stronger has no downside.